Aloha. Hola. Hola. Bonsoir. Guten Tag. Konnichiwa. And hello. Welcome to the class. I'm glad you're here. And before we get really into the class, there are some administrative things I need to bring to your attention. We've gone over these before, but just in case you've forgotten, let me remind you what they are. I have basically 3 rules, and these are administrative rules. Rule number 1, when I'm speaking, you're not supposed to be talking. When I'm speaking, you're not supposed to be talking. Rule number 1. Rule number 2, if someone else is speaking, you're not to be talking. Rule number 1, when I'm talking, you're not talking. Rule number 2, when someone else is talking, you're not talking. And rule number 3, I make the rules up as I go. Okay, so if I see something that I don't like, I'll make a rule for it. Now, if you have a question, please raise your hand and wait until you get acknowledged. If you're acknowledged, then do not speak out. Okay, there are assigned times during the day when we're supposed to go get water and we're supposed to go to the restroom. Please wait till those assigned times. Unless you have something in the office that says you have emergencies and you need to go, then you can quietly leave and come back. Now, if you leave and you don't have an emergency slip on the office, go by the office and get a pass to get back in class, okay? Now, I have some handouts that we'll be going over. So if you would. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a long stretch, isn't it? This may take a moment to get all the handouts, but I guarantee you it will be worth it. If you will pass these around, just one, just pick one and pass it around. I see we have some absentees, so you'll probably have some extra copies. Take one and pass it around. Okay. And we are discussing, I did see a hand in the back. You still have a
Mr. Carr, I totally forgot what I was going to say. Sorry.
Okay. We have been discussing marketing. How many of you remember what the definition of marketing was or is? Good, I'm glad all of you remembered. The definition, this is a simple definition, very simplistic. Market is where buyers and sellers meet. A marketplace, market, is where buyers and sellers meet. Now, I have to hastily add where buyers and sellers meet and transact business legally, okay? Because I have a group that don't always do things that they're supposed to do the right way. They are a captive audience. And when I say captive, I mean literally, they are a captive audience. They are incarcerated young men, so when I have to add in there, do things legally. So I'm not going to discuss anything that is not Lee. Yes, ma'am.
What channel are we on?
We're not on the handouts yet.
Oh, okay.
I just want to make sure you had them in your hand
Okay.
before we got to them.
Okay.
Now, you all understand what marketing, what a market is, correct?
Yes.
What is a market? Where buyers and sellers meet. Okay, good. Before we get to our lesson for today, I just want to bring some points up that we went over the last two lessons. Our first lesson was marketing basics. And then our second lesson was marketing strategies, develop effective products and services. Yes, sir.
What's marketing again? I forgot.
Say again.
What's marketing again? I
What's
forgot.
marketing? Okay. Each of you have some paper, scratch paper. Any questions you may have, write those questions down, and I will allow some time at the end of the lecture to answer your questions. Hopefully, we will answer your questions as we proceed through the lesson. Okay, our first lesson was on marketing basics, and in that lesson, we understood what is marketing. And then we talked about marketing activities. We are exposed to activities in practically everything we do. We talked about marketing businesses and how they must complete some kind of marketing activity. We talked about the marketing functions, the 7 marketing functions, which are product and service, distribution, selling, marketing information management, financial analysis, pricing, and promotion. And we will be talking about pricing today so you can get a better understanding, and also distribution. And in my estimation, and this is just for me, pricing and distribution is the heart of marketing. Because everything you do is going to depend on your price of the product and how you get it into the hands of the consumer. And we also talked about marketing strategy as a business operation, developing a successful marketing strategy and marketing planning, understanding customers and why they make the decisions they do when they are buying. Now, I know you remember that. And again, I just refresh and remember. Lesson 2, we talked about develop effective product and services. And we talked about market planning and research. Now, this brings us to today's lesson. Now, why is this lesson on price and distribute important or relevant? Why is this relevant? Hands. Why is price and let's say pricing and distribution or distributing? Why is this important? Yes, sir.
Because the price is right.
Price is right. Finish it. If the price is right, you win. If the price is right, you win.
I love that game show.
It is a good show. And if you would think about everything that goes into making a show, how they get customers, then we want to relate that sometime in this lesson. But again, this may not be relevant to you now. It may not be relevant now. But as you grow older, and when you start making purchases, you'll understand the relevancy of how those products got to the price where they are, why they charge me this, and how do they get to where they are in the beginning. So this is what we'll be aiming at today. Every aspect of our lives involves some kind of interaction in the marketplace. Everything. Now there may be a few things, but most of the things around us in our environment involves marketing. Unless you are on an island by yourself and you have everything that you need, you won't have to worry about markets. Whether you buy a small item or a large item, or you are selling some large item, you are involved in pricing and distribution. Now, our goals for this lesson is understanding the pricing of products. Understanding the pricing of products. Also, we're going to get an understanding on how products are delivered. And these two concepts influence our environment as consumers and producers. These two concepts right here. Pricing and distribution. Let me see if I can get an example for you. Also, I'll just answer this question here. What can you get from the market that does not have a price or is available for you to purchase? Anything? Can you think of anything?
Are you asking if anything's free?
Free?
What are you asking exactly?
Yeah, well, there's nothing free. There are no free lunches. Everything has a cost.
I get a free lunch.
Even I didn't hear you.
I get a free lunch.
You get a free lunch.
Because my dad doesn't work.
You do not get a free lunch. There's always opportunity cost.
Well, my mama don't pay for it though.
Mama pays for it. It may not come out of our pockets in dollars and cents, but there's always an opportunity cost regardless of what you may buy or don't buy. So remember, this lesson doesn't cover opportunity costs, but there is always opportunity cost. The decision you made or didn't make, there's a cost attached to it. There's anything else?
What you say that was now? Opportunity what?
Opportunity cost.
We gonna go over that later?
We will not go over that. Not in this space. We're going to talk about marketing and those items that are related to marketing. Can anyone think of going to the market and getting something, even if it's free to you, that didn't involve having a price and having gotten there to get that? Yes, ma'am.
The food samples in the food court.
Food stamps
Food
and
samples.
food samples in the food court.
Yeah, that's free.
Oh, at BJ's and Sam's Club.
It's not free. It's
We don't
not
have
free.
to pay for it.
Because you don't pay for an item does not make it free. Somebody paid for it, and we're talking about producers and ultimate customers, or ultimate consumers. Somebody prices, somebody delivers it. And we are just lucky enough that we don't have to do that. Now, if you would go back into time, in the early days, when the settlers was moving into the country, they had to consider pricing and distribution. In fact, they use what they call bartering, and that is a little too far off this purview also. But I just want to bring that to your attention that it goes all the way back, probably back to caveman, but I can't give you an example. Yes, ma'am.
I need to go to the bathroom, please.
You have a file in the office?
I do not.
Okay. If you have to go and it's an emergency, you need to go by the office and bring
Now, why
a
should I have to
slip
go by my
back.
office and a pen?
You
That
need
makes
to
no
bring,
sense.
you need to bring back.
That's okay, I'll just wait till the end of class.
Okay. Now, our objectives are, you will be able to discuss how the pricing of products is computed. That's one of our objectives for this class. You will be able to discuss how the pricing of a product is computed. You will be able to know the difference of channels of distribution. Students will know the difference between price and value. Yes?
I have to go to the office. You want me to get her a pass?
No, ma'am, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Pricing and distribution. Now, here comes the fun part.
Yay!
The fun part. You, all of you, have just been, I'm going to give you a promotion. You have just been promoted to assistant marketing analyst for a consulting firm.
Do we get free lunches with that?
You need to talk to your supervisor, and you need to talk to the analyst since you're just an assistant. Now, wherever the analysts tell you, then you have to follow what they say, okay? But by no means, you won't get a free lunch from me, all right? Now, as an assistant marketing consultant, you've been hired to analyze the stores in a new mall. And what you're going to do is you're going to determine the store's pricing and distribution of their products. And this analysis will include using the marketing function. You do remember the marketing functions, right? Anybody?
Yes.
Everybody? Mm-hmm. Okay. If you don't remember the marketing function, you have a handout which explains, well, not in detail, but it gives you a picture of the marketing functions, okay?
What is that?
It's in your packet.
Are these legal or illegal marketing?
Everything that you will be talking about in this class will be the legal part. The legal. Remember that now. We're not just going to discuss anything illegal. All right? Because I love, not only do I love free lunches, I love my free dumb. Okay? Now,
You can get stuff on the low though.
but you won't know that I got it on the low. All right. Students will set up different stores. You will set up different stores. Practically, you'll be selling merchandise that you love yourself. So you'll think about, what do I like? You know, is it iPods, jewelry, shoes, clothing, whatever you think that you would like to sell. And again, make it something that you really like. That's the store that you will be setting up. One of the assistant marketing consultant team will come to your store and analyze your procedures and determine what are you using to be successful or failure. They're going to look at that. And then they're going to report back to the class. The class will serve as investors. Have anybody had an opportunity to examine or look at or be in contact with a mad, mean investor?
What's an investor?
Like Bernie Madoff?
Somebody who put money into something and they're looking for to make money. They want their money to make money. That's an investor. And if you hadn't encountered an angry, mad, grouchy investor, it's nothing pretty. But again, the class will serve as investors and will make a determination if your report reflects a good report on their investment. And then the winning group will be rewarded. Now, some of you will be investors, some of you will be store owners, and then some of you will be the analysts, the junior analysts, I'm sorry, the junior analysts. And then you will rotate. everybody will get an opportunity to be each one of the participating groups. Here's the good news. You got 1 week. 1 week to prepare your information. Now, let me say this. Don't go and make this assignment difficult. Make it fun. Make it a learning moment. And get something out of it. The more you put into it, the more you can get out of it. And then you'll see when you go to the store and make a purchase, what goes into that, how it got there. Yes?
How do we know if we're going to be a seller or an investor or an analyst?
An analyst, okay.
Junior analyst.
I am going to make that decision so you don't have to worry about which one you're going to be. But remember, you're going to be all three at some point.
Are we doing like,
Did I recognize you?
I'm sorry.
My apologies.
Put your hand down. Okay. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Not being an idiot. So, for this assignment, are we making a whole store with a bunch of products? Is it one product? How exactly is this?
Again, don't make it difficult. 1 to 3 products is fine.
Okay.
But again, think about something that you really like to sell and you know something about, so when a customer comes in, because you're set up the store as the store owner so you can sell the products.
Okay.
Okay, so you got to price those products to sell. And if you overprice them, then you're going to lose money. If you underprice them, they'll still be on the shelf, so you still be losing money. So you want to price them well enough so they can get out and you get another shipment in.
Okay, so we do our own store and then for like this week, and then after everyone assigns it, after everyone does their assignment, we analyze everybody else's? Like a peer thing, or?
Almost, but you can. I'm not going to rule it out.
Or we do our own? We analyze our own?
Well, actually, I'm going to pass out the criteria for that.
Okay.
But in the criteria, it says that you would submit all your analyzations and your store inventories to the teacher, and then if there are any questions, and he can clarify anything that may be questionable to you.
Gotcha.
Then he can look at it there at that point. Any other questions?
So this has to be like a real store? What if I wanted to sell something online?
Online is great because online takes in distribution. How do you get it from you to the consumer, the ultimate consumer? Because at some point in time, the producer have people in the middle and they become consumers as well. But we'll talk about the ultimate consumer, which is the person who takes the merchandise home. Okay? Now, let's get to today's lesson. Oh, no, that's just a warm-up. No, we haven't got to the lesson yet. I'm just warming you up. I want to make sure that we're on the same page. Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Pricing factors. This is the information that you need to consider when you're in one of those 3 modes. And the channel of distribution quickly, during the early days when the seller was coming from cross waters to the United States, well, the states I should say, they sell them mostly on the eastern seaboard, And the reason for that, because they're on the water, and that's how most of the trade was done, by water. So they would leave England and other countries that come up from Boston all the way down to Miami. And for us, it's Savannah. And Savannah is still a vibrant port city. And here are your key terms. Your key terms are also listed in your packet. And there are some videos that I wanted to show you about planes, trains, and automobiles, but we will see those on tomorrow when we'll complete this lesson. And we also, there's some interesting YouTube videos on shipping, and you can see how the waterworks, the water lines, and how they are still into transportation, also trains and some airlines. Not a lot of air traffic, but some. Now, are there any questions? What happened to my question? Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a really funny movie. Is that what that
I
video
know,
is
that
on?
is funny.
Isn't it hysterical?
When I looked that up, I did see a lot of clips, but we're talking about marketing
Oh.
and not just movies. We're talking about, the movies are showing how involved transportation is, or distribution is, in marketing. So if we'll be looking at shipping and air, FedEx and UPS comes to my mind immediately because they do a lot of small packing, but there's some critical things in there that we need to know about. Yes, ma'am. Last question, then the bell is about to ring, and we will continue this tomorrow. Yes.
If I'm never gonna own a store, why is it important for me to know that?
You may not never own a store. You may not never own a store, but more than likely you will visit a store of some sort. And it's important for you to know how they price and how the merchandise get to that store for you. Thank you.
You real
We'll see y'all
smart.
tomorrow.